When searching for what hikes I wanted to do in the Dolomites, I knew I was going to have to be picky due to the limited time I had. So, I focused on picking ones that seemed to have the best views. Which is how I ended up scrambling up a nearly 50% grade through bushes on a trail that barely existed. If you're someone who loves good views, but that description sounds a bit intimidating, there is an easier way to do this, which I'll explain in a minute. Col de la Puina is significantly less crowded than both Cadini di Misurina and Tre Cime di Lavaredo, which I did yesterday, but it still had some amazing mountain views. And a ridgeline. I love a good ridgeline trail. This hike starts off relatively easy with a fairly constant but mellow incline until you reach Rifugio Citta di Fiume, where you can take a break and hang out with some cows while admiring the view. After leaving the Refugio, the trail continues to climb, but this is where you can decide how much of an adventure you want. So this is the map I found online. I took the left side of the loop up and the right side down. I was not quite aware of the trail conditions on the left side when I started, and had I known, I may have stuck purely with the right side to make this an out and back, which seems to be what most people do. I will say, if it has recently rained, I would not suggest the left side. There are sections that were quite steep and slick, even without recent rain. I hope one day there's a camera to accurately show how steep a trail is, because looking back at my footage, I can say with certainty, it does not do it justice. There were multiple times where it made more sense to use my hands and feet, and I recall taking a rest by simply leaning my knees forward a couple inches, and they could rest on the ground. I was struggling on my way up, but the views made it absolutely worth it. So here I'm headed down the way most people used to come up, and as you can see, it is still steep, but it's not as steep and the path is more clear. Which option would you choose? Bonus points for this trail as it passes through an alpine meadow, so you can appreciate the biodiversity of the wildflowers and pollinators. So, when I was in other parts of Italy, signs, menus, and such would generally be in Italian first and English second. But arriving in the Dolomite region, I noticed a change. German seemed to be the primary language, with Italian second. I quickly learned that despite still being in Italy, this region is more German than Italian. That being said, I stopped at the Rifugio on my way down for an apple strudel. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to be always adventuring.